Where is the safest place to keep money? In this educational episode, I'm going to address the first consideration to have your money in a safe place is the safety of the institution. And in order to understand that, you need to understand the rating agencies and how they rate financial institutions, the difference between being federally insured with FDIC and using the legal reserve insurance industry to sort of insure your money. And you'll understand where I put my serious cash in case of a total run on the banks or on the financial institutions. So get ready. I think you're going to be blown away. So I'm Doug Andrew. I've been a financial strategist and retirement planning specialist now for nearly 5 decades. I'm 71 years old. I started in 1974. I've been very honored, very blessed in my career to have authored 12 best-selling books thus far. Stay with me to the end of this episode, and I'm going to gift you a copy of my most recent bestseller that's flying off of the warehouse shelves. We go through about 500 of these a week. And I'll pay for the book and fire out a hard copy to you. So stay with me here. But let's talk about safety because of the recent bank failures. A lot of people are worried about, golly, where is a safer place to put my money than a bank or credit union? Well, I could give you several examples, but let's just cut to the chase. Let's talk about the safest place, in my opinion. So let's first talk about rating systems. There's different rating agencies out there, Standard & Poor's, Moody's, Duff & Phelps, or Weiss, and they changed their names through the years. And so I'm throwing out some of these different institutions that I've been used to using for decades. And so they have their different rating systems, but many times they will combine them all together. And there's companies that will issue a Comdex score. And this shows you the vital signs if an insurance company or a bank or a credit union is headed for some trouble, okay, where they lack liquidity. And frankly, if you would have understood these, you could have seen the writing on the wall with Silicon Valley Bank months in advance. And so I don't even want to have to worry about, golly, do I feel good about my money in this bank? I only keep enough money in a bank for working capital, like what I use in a checking account. I do not put my serious cash for long-term goals in banks and credit unions because FDIC doesn't mean anything to me. So let's talk about what happened during the Great Depression. See, during the Great Depression, we had in America, because of the run on the banks, it caused a ripple effect. Some real estate dropped 80% in value. Banks closed because they couldn't handle it. Everybody was running on the banks. But see, back before they made the changes, during the Great Depression, you could actually go to borrow money to get a mortgage on your house. But do you know the bank or the credit union could call that mortgage due anytime they wanted to? You didn't have to be behind or delinquent. And that's why people always sort of couldn't wait till the day they burned their mortgage so they didn't have that looming over them, that fear. And, that is sort of depicted in the movie, It's a Wonderful Life. Well, after that, you saw institutions, they were not allowed to foreclose unless you were delinquent at least 90 days, 3 months behind, or what have you. But they also came out with FDIC, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. Now, the only problem I have with FDIC is the insurance company is the federal government. And so that is the only insurance company that I've seen that actually is insolvent, and they have been on occasions. Do you know when the savings and loans sort of went under, the FDIC went in to help bail out FSLIC, and they were nearly broke? But sometimes people get lured into this a sense of security, or they feel lulled into that because the federal government can do what? They can always tax us to get money to bail out the banks or the corporations, or they can then raise interest rates. They can borrow money. They print money, and that causes inflation. They have all these methods to act like they're heroes and bail out these institutions. Well, in the Great Depression, 40% of banks never reopened their doors again. But do you know who came through the Great Depression with flying colors? The legal reserve insurance industry. Now, what that means is insurance companies that are legal reserve companies, they have to have reserves on hand, money on hand, liquid and safe, that they can liquidate immediately in case of a run on their institution. And so they have requirements that are far more stringent than banks and credit unions. So let's fast forward to 2008. In 2008, there were 400 banks that went under. 900 more were on the watch list, on the brink of going under. And that's when the federal government asked the 5 major banks in America to disclose where they had their Tier 1 assets for liquidity and safety. Guess where the 5 major banks had 30 to 40% of their Tier 1 assets? In insurance companies, often in the form of BOLI. What's BOLI? B-O-L-I, stands for bank-owned life insurance. What? They own life insurance on people's lives. They're the owner. The owner gets all of the tax-free growth on these insurance policies. This is where I put my serious cash for living benefits. It knocks the socks off of IRAs and 401ks. But conservatively, in 2008, banks were paying you, a depositor, 1% interest if you had your money deposited in the bank. Every million of OPM, other people's money that they borrowed and paid 1%, $10,000 a year, they were making 5% in insurance companies. So they were taking your money, putting some of it in insurance companies, earning 5% or 50,000 on every million. How much more is 50,000 than 10,000? Don't say 40,000. It's 500% more. See, would you hire an employee for 10 grand that made you an extra 50 grand? Or would you buy a widget machine for 10 grand that made you an extra 50 grand? That's called a 500% return on equipment cost or an employment cost. See, that's very wise. So in my opinion, and I'm not a doomsdayer, but I am a realist, we want to have our serious cash in institutions that would be the last domino to fall. Because I think the Silicon Valley Bank, the Signature Bank failure is just the beginning. We are seeing commercial real estate in trouble right now because of COVID-19. They are experiencing still only about 60 to 70% occupancies. In other words, there's 30 to 40% vacancies. And a lot of these landlords are being forced to refinance at higher interest rates. This is going to have a ripple effect. And so we will see real estate drop in value, probably 20, 30, even 40%. What happened last time in 2008 when that happened, okay? So again, I'm not a doomsdayer, but you've got to have your eyes open or you're going to be hurt when we enter this next recession. So keep your money, your serious cash, in investments that are liquid and safe and earn a return much greater than banks and credit unions. Just bypass the middleman. Put your serious cash where the banks and credit unions put their money. So when we talk about this, you've got to use companies that are rated very high by these rating agencies. That's why I put my money in insurance companies that are rated, AA and AAA. Most banks are only rated maybe BBB. Banks are taking your money and increasing the safety from a BBB where they are to AAA. That's 6 notches higher in safety. And they're earning a rate of return maybe 5 times what they're paying you. Are you getting it? So what should you do? I would consider that you should put most of your serious cash, whether it's earmarked for retirement or any long-term goal, into insurance companies, but where and how? I prefer to put mine in a maximum funded indexed universal life insurance contract because I have averaged returns ever since 1980 of 9.62%. If you do a rule of 72 math, your money doubles about every 7.5 years. But ever since 1997, when the strategy of indexing came out, I have averaged 11.17% by diversifying and rebalancing, and I'm able to net 10% tax-free, cash on cash. Only 1 percentage point goes towards the fees and the cost of the insurance that makes it tax-free. So I'd rather earn 11 and net 10 cash on cash than have to go out in the market on an IRA or 401k and have to earn 15% to net 10 after paying tax in a 33% bracket. And then they're going to charge me fees and asset manager. So I'm only netting 9. I only have to earn 11 to net 10 or earn 10 to net 9 using a max-funded insurance contract. So if you want to learn how and why this works, this is what motivated me to write my 11th book. It's called The Laser Fund. It's 300 pages, and it's actually 2 books in one. This side is for the left brain learner. It's about 200 pages comprising 14 chapters with all the charts and graphs and explanations. And if you're a left brain learner, that is the one you should be reading. If you're more of a right brain learner, you learn more by stories and examples. You flip it over and read this one. This is about 100 pages, 12 chapters with 62 actual client stories of how a properly structured, maximum funded indexed universal life, if it's structured correctly, it is deemed a laser fund. Liquid asset safely earning returns is the acronym for laser. And you'll see how that works, but it's like a financial Swiss Army knife. You can use it for retirement, for college funding for your kids and grandkids. It's better than a 529 plan, an emergency fund, working capital for your business, for your real estate management, and on and on and on. So you simply go to laserfund, laserfund.com, or click on the link below, and you contribute a nominal amount towards the shipping and handling. I'll cover the rest of that cost, and I'll pay for the book. I'll fire out a hard copy to you via priority mail. But while you're in there claiming your free copy, if you like to listen and learn or watch and learn, there's options there for that. We teach webinars on a regular basis. They're free. You can even schedule an appointment to talk to an IUL specialist that I have trained and that I oversee so that you can see how these different strategies and a laser fund may help you in your particular set of circumstances. So this is about you and your brighter future. I want you to look at the safest place, in my opinion, to put your serious cash.